Hey, and welcome back to the best thing we watched this week. I've got Chris from Movies and Munchies, myself, Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. We've been doing this for 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years, and we have a nice following now, so thank you so much if you're joining us week on week. Wherever you're watching or listening to us, we have an audio podcast of this with extra stuff, with extra movie reviews that we do on the audio wherever you listen to audio. We also have a Patreon that starts at just £1. And there's new content on there every week. We have a nice little community chat as well that you can talk to us. Let us know what you're watching during the week. What is something perhaps that we should cover if we get time to do extra content, depending on what tier you're on. There's a lot going on within the podcast as well as the audio segment of the podcast as well as the Patreon. So check out in our descriptions in Chris's YouTube channel, there'll be all the descriptions of what's going on as well as in mine. Wherever you find your googly eyes or your ears listening to this, all the information is on there. Basic format is we talk about the best thing we watched, possibly on the audio segment not quite the best thing that we watched, and we also do a movie quiz. And we also talk about, in the audio segment, what we are looking forward to in the coming week, as well as some entertainment news. That is a lot. Welcome if this is your first time. Thank you for joining us. I am wearing my Scooby-Dooby jumper, which is a cross with Supernatural jumper, which is one of my favorite jumpers to wear. It's cold now. We're past the heat in the UK. It's just grey. We've had that storm that the newspapers were saying this is going to be like a world-ending storm, and for some people, to be fair, up north they had some major floods, but mostly they're just fearmongers, those newspapers, and we had a bad storm with lots of rain. But
well, here in California it's hot, so
it's hot again. I thought you were going into your winter.
We thought
as well.
So too.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool,
we thought so too. Yeah. Not so much.
Cheers. We can talk about entertainment and escape a little bit.
Yes.
Possibly give you some ideas of what to watch or what to avoid. And dude, let us know in the comments. Not because I'm asking as a YouTuber, please fill out my comments, but it gives us an idea of what you're watching, what you liked this week. We can add that to our lists. So, Chris, quiz time.
Okay. Last week, there was a theme. It was fairly straightforward, kind of on point because it was Halloween. But congratulations to Red Comet and the Bunny Dojo, which I still love that name. But got all three. It was Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th. So you can see the simple theme there. This week, I think it might be a slightly harder one. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
Great.
Yeah. There is a theme, though.
Okay.
There is a theme.
What is it?
No, I'm not going to tell you. That's cheating. Well, it's not cheating. It's just giving it away. Okay. Number one. They're all dead. They just don't know it yet. Number two. Human beings have dreams. Even dogs have dreams. But not you. You're just a machine. An imitation of life. Number three. When they first brought us here, they extracted what was in us and stored the information, remixed it like so much paint, and gave us back new memories of their choosing.
Wow. All right. That's an interesting theme.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments. Just make sure you leave a little bit of space so that other people have the opportunity to guess as well. If you get all three, we will give you the shout out next week. But until then, Ruben, do you have a question for us?
I do. This is a movie question, sort of. Just a sort of fun quiz thing that I feel like everybody should know. Do not Google it, because that just ruins the fun. But on my channel, I have a rating system, which has Nicolas Cage's rating system from 1 to 5. Okay, so you'll know if you've seen any of Ruben's content, you'll know that that's how I rate things. What I want to know, and Chris, don't blurt out the answer if you know it.
Okay.
That would ruin it. Just nod your head if you know it.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage is directly, how do I put this? Nicolas Cage's family member, is a well-known director. Who is it?
And what's the relationship?
Yeah, what's the relationship? But who is it?
Nice.
will work as well, because that's actually not a lot of people know this, because the name's not the same. It's not Cage. I'm trying to think of a director with Cage in the surname, and I can't think of one.
I don't think there is one. I can't think of one either. There might
Certainly
be,
not a very famous one. Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Cage, right?
Yeah, Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's directed something, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, he stars in movies. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the best thing we watched this week.
You want to go first?
Sure. I've got 2 movies, and then once we're done with whatever movies you're doing, I'll start my anime segment of Over 9,000 again. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, I'm just typing up here, so I'm getting it right. I haven't seen you review this yet, so I'll be interested to see if you've watched it, but it's called NYAD. It just dropped this week. It tells a remarkable true story of an athlete, Diane NYAD, who at the age of 60, with the help of her best friend and coach, commits to achieving her long life dream of a 110-mile open ocean swim from Cuba to Florida. It stars 2 phenomenal actresses, Annette Bening, who plays Diane NYAD, and Jodie Foster, who plays Bonnie Stoll. The Bonnie Stoll is like her best friend for life. I wasn't expecting to, I expected it to be good performances because they're incredible actresses.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expected to be so emotionally engaged and just engaged in the movie. I think part of the reason why it is so good is, firstly, the relationship between the 2 best friends, 100% believable. Between the ups and downs, the fighting, the actual character who is nicknamed NYAD. She's an incredibly hard person to like. She has a very in-your-face type of personality. She wants what she wants. She has a go-get sort of attitude, but that can come off as very blocky, not hard to relate to emotionally. And Annette Bening plays this character amazingly well. But within the movie, we have these clips of the actual person, because it is a true story, intertwined with like it's almost documentary. So you get to hear like audio clips of what she would say. And at the end, there's this whole big thing about like stuff that we've seen with... Chris, are you still there?
Okay. I don't know what happened. It said my internet went out, but my internet didn't go out. I don't know. It was weird.
Okay. How far did you... I was speaking for ages. I don't know.
You were telling me, the last thing I really heard concretely was you were telling me about the ups and downs, the real friendship, and then how the real person who is nicknamed NYAD, and then that was the last bit.
Okay, cool. Okay. So they use real footage from when she's recorded in her race, because obviously she was very televised. It's a very real story. It's a true story, very well documented. So we know her ups and downs. So you take all of that information, they put a bit of the audio inside it. Also, at the end of the movie, they have a good 2-3 minutes of showing us footage of the actual actors that were in comparison to the actual people. And that was great to see how well they cast it. But what carries the film is definitely the relationship, how believable Jodie Foster and Annette Bening is. You 100% believe when they're fighting, when they're going on the ups and downs. And then you have this trauma then that the character NYAD has gone in her past because of a coach, some nastiness. And you see her fighting that, trying to get past that in the ocean. It's this battle of flashbacks. So when she's been swimming for 26 hours, non-stop, she's not allowed to touch the side of a boat. So she can swim up to the boat and they can drip through a hose, some water or some liquid, protein, stuff like that. And so she fights emotional battles. You go through all sorts of... You can imagine if you're swimming for 60 hours... what sort of emotional state you're going to go through, never mind the toll physically that your body goes through. So no matter how much they put in an oil rather than sunscreen to completely reflect, but there's other things that you got to think of. Box jellyfish is a big scary moment. Storms with that you just weren't even if you have the best navigator and you prepare for the weather is very unpredictable. You think it's going one side and then it goes another. A certain current, they have a window to swim to catch a current, but eventually when you're going through this current, you'll be swimming against yourself. So no matter how hard you're swimming, you're going 12 meters back with each like forward stroke. So you see all the battles, and she definitely doesn't do it the first time. She fails and she fails, and you see people on this journey with her who believe in her. And you see how it's not just her that's doing it. It's this team of people between the medics, between the navigator, between her best friend who's become her coach, that's spurring her on. I just thought it was an incredible performance, but also just the story is so, like, once you get to the end, you're so like invigorated. Like it's like, yeah, I can do almost anything now. You know, you're so revitalized. You want to go, like, the basic like premise of it at the end. And when you hear her speak, is just say, you're never too old to start kicking your dreams' ass. Don't ever think you're too old. And I was like, I'm at this age. I'm honest. Like, yeah, like that spoke emotionally to me, like in a really real way. Very, very, very real characters, but the adventure that she has to go on, you go with her. There's stuff in here that you just won't see coming that I thought, oh, this is very entertaining. So it's harrowing, it's traumatic, brilliantly told, and then you get to the end and it's a story of hope. 5-star, like, highly recommend this film.
Wow. Nice. I haven't had an opportunity yet to see it. My day fell apart, and so I just didn't get to it, but nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really...
It's really good. Yeah.
Is it depressing, though, too? Oh, okay. From what little I've seen, it like on a trailer or whatever, without the sound, it looked like it was going to be kind of down in the dumps. But
yeah, I thought so too. But it's very good. It's well worth watching. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Mine on my list it's also a Netflix thing, and it was a mini series that came out this week. Now, there's a huge caveat that I am or at least a qualification perhaps that I'm seeing as a trend within the comments. The show is All the Light We Cannot See.
Right. If
you did not read the book that it is based on,
the Pulitzer Prize winning book, yeah.
Yes. You will probably enjoy the series.
Right.
If you did read the book, the series pales in comparison. Right. The series is it's overly simplified. It lacks a lot of nuance.
That's crazy, because the series is incredible.
I have not read the book, so I agree with you. I thought the series was amazing, especially newcomer. Oh my gosh, Aria Mia Loberti. So the protagonist in this story of Marie is blind. Sean Levy wanted authenticity in that. So they did a worldwide casting call, but it wasn't just to find one blind actress who could do it. They needed to find two, because one is a younger version, like as a child. So, I mean, talk about hard to do. So they found two first-time actors.
Wow.
This is their first production to play the same character, young and older. And the young one is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her, but she's not in it nearly as much as the older version, the early 20s, late teenager, something like that.
Yeah.
I was blown away by her. I mean, she is the shining standpoint in all of this. For sure. I still thought, though, that Mark Ruffalo, Hugh Laurie, Lewis Hoffman, who I love because he's in Dark. I thought they all did wonderful too. The story of the obsessive Gestapo agent who is after this stone. I liked him because he's just creepy. I think he was a little underdeveloped in why his pursuit is there, other than he's sick. That's kind of just plain and basic.
Because it's meant to have this ability, or so-called, like it has a thing attached to it.
Mythology around it, whether or not it's actually true. But it's but I loved the story part of this, where you have a central part of somebody unseen who spoke on the radio every night, providing hope. And the way that, I mean, the person that was broadcasting was doing it for different reasons than the people hearing it were attaching to it, but that was okay because they heard it as hope, as encouragement, as things are not always bad, can't rain all the time. But and then the flip side, the person broadcasting is using it almost as a catharsis and as a, to tell themselves it's not all that bad. I think the trajectory of the story is predictable, but that didn't bother me. I was intrigued and just enthralled in the performance. Yeah. That Liberty as Marie, she was just so engrossing because she, excuse me, she has this innocence to her, but also a fierceness, and also she's very intelligent and she's very perceptive. Yeah. And so you see, excuse me, wow. You see all of that come through. Yeah. And so the way she interacts, she has that softness also that makes her endearing and makes her friendly and warm to everybody around her. But her spirit comes across as strong. She's a strong, intelligent woman that is not going to get pushed around easy. For me, the thing that stood out, like the best thing, is the fact that we have this blind young woman who is, like, to say the film is visual is it's an understatement. It's what's happening in the world in that moment with the war and the bombings. To see a blind woman navigate that visual aesthetic, the contrast of that is incredible. Which is why it's like all the light that you cannot see. The title works on multiple levels. Yeah. The whole time I was seeing her on screen, like what she was going through. There's a moment where she's like going down the stairs, trying to hide, and the guy is following her. That whole scene is so riveting. There's a lot more moments like that, but it compounds the fact because she's blind. And oftentimes she doesn't seem blind because she's so clever with the world around her, as her other senses are so heightened. It was wonderful to see an authentic portrayal in a recreated World War scene that for us is visually, aesthetically pleasing, but in the back of your mind you're like, what would that be like for a blind person? Like you're thinking that, it's making you ask that. Very, very, very well done. I kind of really want to go and read the book. Like, I do too. If it's so much better, like, damn, okay. Yeah. I loved that she was able to hold her own against, like, Hugh Laurie and Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, they're not small-time actors, and this is first time, like, her career, I hope, this is the really great jumping point. Exactly, yeah. And she, I mean, everybody probably associates Ruffalo with the Hulk, but outside of that, he has done some amazing Dude is an amazing actor. Yeah, I like him a lot, yeah. That series that he did on HBO, that miniseries where he played a twin. If you've never seen it, I can't remember what it was called. I could find it, though. But it is spectacular. I mean, gosh, yeah, he's been in so many different things. He's a fantastic actor. I know this much is true. That's what that is, and that is. If you've never seen that you need to see that. Whew. Incredible acting. Anyway, okay, yeah. So All the Light We Cannot See. If you have not read it, then check it out because it's excellent. If you have read it first, you may not want to. Just judging by how everybody in the comments has, it's definitely split. So, all right. What's next on your list? This is a film that I didn't get to review because I chose not to. Because mostly I'm just trying to niche the content on my channel and keep some stuff I haven't talked about for this particularly. I'm very excited to talk about this with you. I know you reviewed it, but this was a big surprise for me. I expected it to be okay because I like the actresses. I like the sort of story. But I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. But Quiz Lady. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a yearly watch for me. I'm going to be sticking this on to make me happy. Firstly, I just want to say, not since Elf have I seen
a movie that has fit Will Ferrell so well. Him as the quizmaster with the bow tie that just makes me smile and be happy. His character and demeanor throughout the movie. I was like, this is the best casting I've seen for him in a role in years. Well, actually, Barbie he was great in, but this particular, What did you think of him in that?
This is also on my list.
Oh, is it? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, no, I was the scene that he shares with Awkwafina, where they're having just a moment, and he's so real and so kind that interaction. I mean, it was beautiful, and it wasn't. I mean, there are humorous moments in there, but they're not played for laughs. They're just feel good. You know, and they make you smile and they make you maybe chuckle a little bit. But yeah, his performance all the way through, which I was shocked by, because when I first saw him on the screen, I was like, okay.
They're going to make it, they want him for that, like be the over top Will Ferrell that we've seen a lot. But he wasn't.
Yeah. He was like Mr. Rogers inside of Alex Trebek.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Like he could play Mr. Rogers, but Alex Trebek was, absolutely nailed it. Okay, so we have Sandra Oh, who I love in the series, the Assassin series. Oh my gosh, the BBC.
Oh, Killing Eve.
Yeah, Killing Eve. Well, let's just say the first 2 seasons were great, and then they lost the plot. But I've seen Sandra Oh play some incredibly dark, dense character studies for whatever genre she's in. She's a phenomenal actress. But I was very interested to see what she was going to do with timing. I've seen her on some other comedic stuff, but we also have on the other side our main protagonist, Awkwafina, who I think of late, the stuff that she's been putting out, she's been given the chance now to do lead roles. And so the argument is, in Hollywood, we struggle to get the balance of allowing people of different demographics, sexual orientation, the chance to play first roles, and we've gone so over the top that now it's everywhere. But the argument is right, but because it's been so wrong for so long, we need to be unbalanced. Don't worry, I have a point. I'm coming back. It's been very unbalanced. It's been very unbalanced for so long. So now we're getting to the place where we're seeing people who haven't had the chance or the opportunities to play in lead roles, and we're getting it more and more. So now Awkwafina, instead of being the comedy relief in the side plot storyline, we get a story that is culture specific, that is sexual orientation specific, that is actually just damn good and seems to be like one of those roles that I can't see anybody else having played that role so good. And that's what I think when I'm watching these two. They're sisters, their upbringing, just the opening scene where she's watching the quiz show, but the stuff going around gives you enough insight into what their life is like that you're on board rooting for the character as it starts unfolding. So you're like, why is she like this? I know. They didn't need to do exposition. They didn't need to do an info dump. They showed it and explored the story of what's going to happen. This is a good, tight comedic script. And then there was the emotional gut punches that I just wasn't expecting. There's a moment at the end, I think I saw it coming, but when it happens and the sister says something to the other sister, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually feeling this. Anyway, okay, so what did you think?
Dude, okay, so Sandra Oh shocked me in a huge, great way. Because I do like her too. Like you said, there's been a lot of things. I see her more often in the dramatic, darker roles than anything funny. I mean, she was in The Chair on Netflix, and that was funny. That. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it got canceled, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But she was good in that. Here, though, she like fully embraces the silly. Yeah. And she goes for it, and it totally works.
It really
because
works.
she's kind of a mess of a person and kind of out there all over the place, but also just searching her or following her own path and sticking to that, And so I thought it was really good, especially as it contrasts with Awkwafina's more buttoned down, reserved character. I mean, they are the odd couple within there. But it doesn't mean that Sandra Oh's character is like dismissive of everything. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see how hard she's trying and how there is a concern, except she doesn't always know how to adequately or effectively transmit that, and portray that to her sister. That moment that you were talking about, which even right before that, as they're getting into this, was the I loved how they stopped trying to be like everybody else and did what they knew to be best. And so as they're guessing these things, it was like, throw all of this crap out of the window and just do things, which then you have Jason Schwartzman like, you can't do that. That's is it really though? Because, hey, whatever you do that, but yeah, then you have that final moment and you're like,
yeah,
so good. Yeah. I saw, did I see a trailer? I don't even know if I saw a trailer for this. I thought, it might be cute, like if it's going to make me chuckle a tiny bit, then okay, cool. Lighthearted, whatever. And then it was like, whoa, wait a minute. Where did this come from? Why is this? You're right. The script is tight. There's enough silliness and absurdity mixed with grounded, down to earth, real relatable moments that it as we go through it, it doesn't feel like we're being, pulled one way and the other, just, schizophrenically back and forth. And it doesn't feel like, well, they're adding this in because they have to make a joke here. It was just like, well, no, this fits within the story. And now we have something funny that we can do within this part of that. And yeah,
there's some stuff in here that subverts expectations. There are characters that you think are going to do one thing, but are another way. There's also a character that I don't know what her character was in this, but I think she was amazing. Holland Tyler, who plays Francine, she's the neighbor. This is grumpy, but I loved every scene she was on. I was just like, I know that neighbor. It's written so well.
Yeah, I think too that she is. I think part of her inclusion is for a gag, which was funny, and then it was like, oh, I was like, dang it, I didn't even.
Yeah, that was clever. Yeah,
yeah. So
there's this like the writing of what happens to the characters at the end of the movie, or like it's a real movie. And when it gets to her character, it's like, really? No.
Yeah. It's like, what? Yeah, just. Oh man, yeah, no. This was a really good surprise. I'm glad it's on your list because it's totally worth it.
So is anything else? Oh, okay, cool.
No,
so we're going to do returning to, because we're done with Halloween, so we're going back to anime. You're over 9,000. Chris, can you do editing and make him shine?
Maybe.
Challenge accepted?
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, so 2 of them are animes. One of them is an animated series. Let me get my list up. Okay. So first of all, there is a new anime called Onimusha, which is based on a game franchise, which I used to play on PS2, and then they did a remastered one of the first game, and the third game came out. It was called Onimusha Warlords, which actually, after watching the anime, I went and played it. I have like an hour and a half of gameplay. Chris, you're welcome to grab a clip from it if you want to use for this. So let me just say, I went back because of nostalgia to go and play this game because I love the anime. Firstly, don't keep the joy of what you experience with the games in the back of your mind, because this game, even remastered, the camera movements of going, you can't control the camera. It's a fixed camera. So you want to see before you get to the room, but unfortunately there are guys that can attack you even though you can't see them because they're off camera. So you're getting spears and arrows thrown at you or projectiles. And the story itself is fine, but I finished it in 4 hours. This is like the whole game's like, I don't remember it.
Whoa.
And that's even with the most annoying puzzles ever known to mankind, because there's a checkpoint that you can save, and then there's a 15-minute gameplay sequence, and then there's an easy place to die. Not really logical to figure out the puzzle, so you have to start all again at that checkpoint and go through cutscenes that you can't skip. So it was a very painful experience in parts. So that my top tip is, if you want to keep the memories, go and play a different ninja game. Sekiro is equally hard and is like very, very good. So, but the anime took everything that you loved from the games. You have there's this gauntlet that makes you an Oni if you manage to put it on. An Oni is like a demon master. Do you know what an Oni is, Chris? Let's ask Google, because I'm not defining that right. Oni is what? Oni in Japanese folklore, a type of demonic creature, often a giant size, great strength, and fearful presence. They are generally considered to be foreign in origin, perhaps introduced into Japan from China along with Buddhism. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but you get the gist. Now, if I read...
Wards off bad stuff and brings you good luck. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. With the heart of a warrior, a legendary swordsman wields an ancient demonic weapon, but with every soul he takes, the more darkness consumes him. So this is classic. Our warrior has been chosen to take literally this gauntlet to somewhere else. At the same time, there's a big bad that is trying to take over the country, and he's using demons to do that with. So he's taking like warriors that have been dead before and bringing them back with new powers because they've joined with a demon of some kind. So they have extra skills, and then they like transform into like monster type creatures, but still have sword skills. So we have our main bladed character who is ridiculously good at what he does, but when it comes to fighting demon warriors, he just doesn't have the strength to defeat them, so he needs the Oni Blade. And so you have this journey of him trying to get from one place to another. So we have that adventure. He also has a team that he gets sent along with, not all of whom you can trust. And then we go along the journey with them and see what happens at the end. Now, I would say, I think there's space for more. There's definitely space for more. It just depends on whether people like it. The art style is quite unique. It reminds me of, it's CG 3D, but it has a ink feeling to it. I don't know if you remember that not so early, Street Fighter 5, I think it is. They have this like blurred version where it's 3D, but they look like they've got like ink, like they're drawn on them. It feels like that, so it gives like a real comic addition to what you're seeing. So although it's 3D CG, because I know not everybody likes that, the style, it's very vibrant, but also you get to see what's going on. So I particularly like just an example of what you get in the anime when it comes to the action. You'll see a fight scene, a duel between two. You'll see the movement of the foot slightly move in the sand, and then it will cut to like the eyebrow lift. And then they'll say some sort of dialogue, and it'll go wide, and then the movements are fluid, and so you get to see the parts you want to see, expressing the emotion you want before the action comes into play, and it highlights those moments so well. And then you have that score that's heightening the big battle. You always feel like your characters are the underdog, even though at times he becomes really strong. The demons that he is fighting are super duper strong. Now we have like the last two episodes, episodes 7 and 8, is like almost like you need to watch them together, because like one is like a massive cliffhanger. It's almost like one big episode, and that's just the build up of the whole series, the crescendo of the big battle sequence. I mentioned in my review, think Lord of the Rings when Gandalf is falling down the mountain and he's fighting the Balrog. It's that. Oh wow! It's as big and crazy as that, and it's just fun. I was like, oh, this is really good. Had I not seen other anime this week, I would have said this is the best anime that I've seen this week. However, I also saw, which is an animated series, not technically anime, called Blue Eye Samurai. We really seem to be going into like the samurai territory. That seems to be Sometimes Hollywood just spurts out the same thing and then everybody copies. It feels like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Blue Eye Samurai is definitely a labor of love for an animated series about a time where Japan closes its doors to anybody that is white. They are thinking that the West is influencing their culture too much, and so they close it on and they kick anybody out. And anybody that has slept with either male or female that has slept and produced an offspring that's mixed is considered to be a monster and to be slain and put down. They are way less than any street urchin or murderer, rapist, whatever. If you are mixed breed, you are considered to be less than. So we have our protagonist who is mixed breed and has to wear glasses to hide the different color eye that she has. And she has to pretend to be a boy as well, because she's like doubling down on she's not only she a female, but she's mixed race, and she now, at the beginning of the film, she has no one to look after her. She becomes an orphan. So she puts herself with a samurai bladesman, a special craftsman who is blind, who takes her under his wing, and he basically teaches her how to craft best weapons. And then we go on the journey of how her revenge story of how she came to be, who the white men did this to her. She's gonna basically denounce anything that's good in her life and become the best samurai possible, so that the only thing in her life that she can focus on is being as good as she can be to take out those white guys. And those white guys, unfortunately, have thousands of henchmen. And so we only get to see the first white guy in this. There's 4, so technically there's probably going to be 4 seasons. Okay. It does end on a sort of cliffhanger where it's been out for a few days, so I guess I can say the next location, maybe I won't. The next location is going to be cool to see what they do with the animation, and I'm interested to see if that's where they're taking it. I presume they are. But there is a sort of conclusion to the first white guy meet down, and how they show that. The fighting in this is awesome. I'm trying to think of something that can be as close as it. Watch the trailer. You'll see there's a moment where they're fighting against a cliff, and there's 5 men that look like ninjas. They've got those scary masks on, and some of them have got claws, some of them got swords. And she dives off the cliff and launches herself into a backwards handstand with the splits balancing on the tip of like a little bit of the cliff that like it's got nothing else. And then there's little like ledges, and there's this awesome fight scene that happens in between there that also happens to have a variety of music that the directors or the creators were so enamored with and so loving the time and the authenticity that they were trying to create. So even though our characters are larger than life characters, they went for as much to be as authentic for the time as possible, but then also took some of the great martial arts scenes and people of creators of our time and put that in. So you've got music here from Kill Bill. You got music here like from heavy metal that you wouldn't think that works, but 100% works brilliantly. So you've got, again, Western influencing, it's a very clever kind of nod of like, oh, look, we're still going to influence that way. Mm-hmm. It's so wonderfully done that I think a lot of people are going to say this is their best animation of the year. I probably would say the same if I hadn't seen Pluto this year.
It's been a good couple weeks for you.
Yeah, suddenly we've just gone, here you go.
Nice.
Did we talk about Invincible last week?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
the embargo
Invincible
lifted this week, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so Invincible came out, the first episode of season 2. I have less to say about this because it's very much more of the same. Like if you like the first season, you're going to like season 2. I have more negatives to talk about, but that's only because we've had to wait so long for season 2. It's been a massive amount of time to remember what's gone on. So my top tip was go back, watch at least the last 2 episodes, watch the special episode that there was in between this as well, that they released like a month ago. Omni-Man is disappeared because of obviously his betrayal to Earth. He's part of a race that basically takes over the planets that they're sent to. One individual character's like species of male or female sent to planets to rule them and to make it this particular race. And so he was meant to do that, but he has an altercation with Invincible, his son, at the end, and basically beats him to a pulp within an inch of his life and can't handle what he's done, so he leaves. So we have his son in this season having to pick up the pieces of trying to do the job that Omni-Man was doing, trying to be a boyfriend, trying to do college, and trying to like help his mom go through dumps because she didn't know what type of man he was for all that time that they raised their son. And then he's trying to balance that Peter Parker alternate personality storyline. And that's, for the most part, what we get in the first 4 episodes. Now, here's another negative. They split the second season up into 2 halves. So even though we've started watching episode 1 now, I've seen the first 4, and it's awesome. My favorite episode's the 3rd one because there's a character named Alan that we've seen in the first season. He's back, and I love everything about Alan. Alan! And we're going to have to wait, I think, a long time to watch the second half. It's not. It's really? Probably not early days. Maybe April, June next year to watch the second half. Like, oh my gosh, it's not coming soon. And considering that the creator is also working on a live action of this series, he's also working on a number of other things at the same time. So he's juggling many baskets. So although the animation itself is fantastic, the gore and everything is exactly what you'd expect it to be, the brutality, it's written well, you like the characters, it just feels like, I've had to wait so long to enjoy this. Now I'm going to have to, I get to watch 4 episodes and then you can make me wait months again. Like, you get going. There was huge hype for the first season and it was amazing. I would have like gone straight into the drawing board and just, even if it was during COVID time, do it separately, animate, bring them together. But no, we waited 2.5 years, going closer to 3, and now we're having to remember why we like this so much. And so now we have a much less hype for the second season.
Mm-hmm. And then to stunt it again.
Exactly. So I feel it just even while I'm talking about it. I was like, I enjoyed it, but I've lost some of that.
Yeah. The excitement level is greatly diminished because of all of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any more?
No, that's all the anime done.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for joining us then. We would love to hear what some of the best things that you watched this week. Please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget, we have a Patreon opportunity, patreon.com/thebeardedones. It is £1 to get you just access to everything. There are a couple of things that are outside the paywall, so you can see those. We have like over 65, maybe even closer to 70, 75 videos in there now. New stuff going on each week. There's going to be an audio extra section. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you want to hear more, we're going to talk about the thing that didn't make our list as the best thing we watched. We also watched a film together that we're going to discuss.
Great classic.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's top list, this film.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll also hit up things that we're looking forward to, as well as entertainment news. And if you do happen to listen to the podcast and you've never done so before, if you could rate and review us, that would be huge, whatever platform that you listen to us on. Also, don't forget to do all the YouTube-y stuff. Like, share, subscribe. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday. Me, Chris, Movies and Munchies. With that, we will see you next time, okay? Take care.